super windy today, but we're trying to get the drain tile in for the basement. So the Stainbrooks Excavating, who did my basement dig, had 100 foot of drain tile right over there. It's the basement hole. 100 foot of drain tile to here, and then we hooked on with PVC on out, and then down here we put in dug a hole with the Bobcat and put in some big rock. It wasn't clean big rock, but it'll work. Get this right where it dumps out, just so it's not just running right across the top of the ground. It kind of seeps in a little bit, and it'll fill that hole, and then it'll pump up on the other side. So, got to get a little bit more in that hole, and I'm going to put a little bit of clean gravel over the top of that pipe just to bed it down, and then backfill. Alright, here we're on the skid steer, and this is a Cat, a compact track loader. I can't remember the number, 73 horse. Really like the cab, have air conditioner, that's nice. But what isn't nice is that if you raise the bucket at all, parking brake. If you raise the bucket at all, you can't get the door open. The door hits. So you have to be all the way down flat on the ground before you can get out, which kind of sucks sometimes. So, but otherwise, really comfortable. Does a pretty good job. You can, got a mirror so you can see. It also has a backup camera, which is kind of nice, but the sun makes that hard to use. But anyway, here we go.
So here we are using batter boards to try to lay out the outside wall of the blocks, which should match our house plans. And what we're doing, the batter boards allow you to move the string left and right, and we're using our laser level with the receiver held vertically to get us square, and then we're measuring out. We actually put a little piece of string tied around the main layout string, and we could slide that back and forth on the tape measure. So here we had to pause to help Dan and Amy's mom build a gazebo. She was getting a hot tub put on her back patio, and Dan and Amy did most of it, but we came in and helped with a little bit of the last part where they were trying to anchor it down to the patio there. Okay, back to work. It was extremely wet this April, so we had to continually pump water out of the hole. We were using a little 12-volt sump pump hooked to the battery of my dad's Kubota side-by-side.
All right, Dan. We went down, around the garage, and now we got to see if we're going to line up. Pass gig.
I'll do it myself.
No.
We gotta know.
Okay, here we go. Are we on? Oh,
Yes!
half an inch. It'll work. We can fix that.
We did it!
So here we're laying out the former drain. That stick that we're using is to where we can actually see where it's lining up on the line. and that's the outside of the concrete or the ICF blocks. Radar! Another pause. So Dan and Amy have a boutique that sells, various things, this and that, some clothing, some knickknacks, cups, you name it. Anyway, it's an old converted shed, and they wanted to take the garage door out and put in an actual walk-through door. So we're framing in a wall with a window and a door, and there are the grannies. They're making sure we do it right. And so, yeah, we just took out the garage door and framed it out and threw in a door and a wall and a window. And now back to work again. Okay, so more rain, more former drain, more pumping water out with the 12-volt sump pump. I think here we're trying to actually get the pilaster wells tied into the former drain. The pilasters are what strengthen the main part of the wall. They're like the T-walls that come off of. And another pause for graduation. So Miguel, which is Indy's boyfriend, he graduated from K-State with his accounting degree, and also Lexi graduated with her art degree. And this is the art show that was the day before her graduation. This is the whole crew up in the art department where the press was. Okay, now back to work. And more water, of course. So yeah, it was a wet April and May. We didn't have a sump pump at this point, and you can see that drain right there. That's the gravity drain, and it's actually propped up to keep the mud out of it, so it's not even draining the water out. So we kind of rearranged and got it down. We have guests living in our house already. Hey, but we finally got AC 110, well 220 actually, but we actually got power over to it and a temporary panel. And what that allowed us to do was actually get our sump pump basin in. We hadn't originally planned for a sump pump basin, so we had to come back and said, we came to the realization that we probably needed the water level a little below where the gravity drain was. It will make a good backup, but it also meant digging a hole in that darn shale. It was so hard. So we used the post driver to actually drive this rod through it, and that broke it up enough that we could get our sump pump basin dug out and buried in there. And then of course that ties into the former drain, so any water that gets in the former drain will flow into the basin, but we also wanted all of that groundwater to be able to get into that basin, and that basin was a sealed basin, so we had to ventilate it ourselves. We cut our own holes in it. And right there, we're actually pumping the water from the various low spots into the gravity drain just to keep the pump from having to do more work. Radar! Get it, buddy. Get it. Get it. And this, finally, we have our actual sump pump. This is the 110 sump pump that's hooked to that temporary meter or temporary panel. And this will allow us to be pumping water when we're not there with the Kubota and the 12-volt pump. Radar! Now, finally, maybe it won't be a mud puddle down there.
Alright, former drain is done in the basement. Going around. Do what?
We need more stakes.
We do need more stakes. However, so that's the bottom of the great room. There's our egress. This is the footing for, we'll say, the bottom of Dustin's office. All the way down to the spare bedrooms. Wine room in the actual basement. All the way around to all the funky corners that Dustin and Dan had to create. All the angles. There we are going up into the garage footing. Front door area was right there. All the way to this side of the footing for the garage. And this will be the basement.
Radar!
Below the master bedroom. And this is the footing for the edge of the porch there. And we are back to the corner. We got it done. So now to finish the footing for the garage up there.
So here we're just trying to get enough backfill in that we can put pressure against the backside of the former drain, so when we pour the concrete in, that it will help hold it and keep it from bowing out. We could have did the same thing with stakes, but it would have taken a lot more stakes, and the gravel needs to be in there anyway. So that's helping us. I'm driving the Bobcat. I get the air conditioner. So here we're using landscape fabric or filter fabric to, I was trying to fill Amy's boot with rock. Trying to use filter fabric to keep the silt from clogging that lower portion of the gravel there. That way we make sure that it gets good drainage over the lifetime of it. So, all right, well, come back next time where we will be pumping more water and laying out more footers and getting everything ready to actually pour concrete in the footers.